Welcome to A Course to Retirement with Grand Rapids Certified Financial Planner Ron Corser. Ron Corser and Associates are planning today for the potential of tomorrow.
And welcome into the program. This is your Course to Retirement, Grand Rapids resource for that common sense approach to planning for our financial and retirement futures. Are the team from Ron Corser and Associates. Now, we've got some special announcements on today's program. And of course, your CFP Grand Rapids Certified Financial Planner, Ron Corser, is here with us. But Ron, we've got some announcements to make on the program today about some changes that are happening there at Ron Corser and Associates.
Yeah, that's a great lead in. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ron Corser and Peter Rashan Presents. We do have big news. I've been in this business 26, going on 27 years. And God has blessed us. He really has. There's been some, like in everybody's life, no matter with you're self-employed or working for somebody else, you know, there's been good times, there's been bad times, and everything in between. But the Lord has brought us through all of this. So this is the first time we're going to talk about the future of our company. And I wanted to put it out here so everybody understands what's going to go on and what they'll see, particularly for those who are our clients who listen regularly and those two who one day hopefully will become clients and anybody else. Here's what's going to happen ultimately. My wife Nancy and I have been working on this for a few years along with our partner Nolan. Effective the 1st of January, 2022, Ron Corser and Associates is going to be called, actually, it's going to be called here this week. You'll probably see it, Cornerstone Retirement Partners. But at the end of this year, I am going to turn over control of the company to Nolan Gosley, our partner and another financial advisor with us. This has been a long time coming. Now, what does this all mean? Well, let's just take it step by step with the calendar. When you go to our website, the website is cornerstone-r as in Romeo, P as in Papa.com. And Ron Corser and Associates will no longer exist. Ron Corser will, Lord willing, the creek don't rise, but the old website won't. So that's the first thing that's going to change that people will be able to see. The second thing as we go down the road, we're in a plan right now and we're making progress toward the finalization of our succession plan. And at the end of this year, as I said, Nolan Gosley will become the prime owner of this business. So what does that mean for me? What does it mean for our clients? Number one, it is my hope that our clients won't see anything negative happen. Why is that? Well, I plan on continuing to work. It's time for me, and we all know this. Those of you leading out there who are getting close to retirement or in retirement, if you've owned your own business, you know there comes a time when it's appropriate and right and proper to step back just a little bit. Now, I'm not going to step back and go off into the sunset unless the Lord calls me home. But my intention is I will continue to work here at the company. What I will release is ownership and basically the management of the company. I will be there to mentor Nolan, to help him, and to also continue to do reviews and to manage our clients' business as I'm already doing. I don't see a big change in anything we're doing. There will be some, I think, improvements down the road. And one of them will be in our use of technology. There's some, technology is becoming more and more prevalent in everything we do. And it's also in our own business here. So we're going to continue to go forward on that, bringing in new pieces of technology. But just sitting back, because I really, my wife and I are clients too of this company. I don't anticipate anything that's going to go, oh my goodness. I think it'll be pretty much a seamless progress down towards the end of the year and a seamless transition. I joke with Nolan that says, you know what, when you own this company, I'm going to go on strike. I'm going to get a union in here and get some better benefits and employment stuff. he just kind of rolls his head and leaves the room. But I wanted to make that announcement. I'm excited about this. I really am. And so is my wife, Nancy, because it's going to give us the opportunity to continue to be a big part of this company for a couple of reasons. And this may sound strange, but it really isn't. I generally care about, I really do care about the clients. I really do. It's, when you're in this business a long time, and we look back over the last 20 years, and we think about all the things we've gone through, the ups and downs of the market, wars and rumors of wars, politics that have gone absolutely off the rails to normal stuff. When you start to experience that and you try to help people walk through that financially, one of two things happen. You either become very close to each other, or it doesn't work. And the clients that we have right now, we've gone through a lot of that. We've gone through a lot of personal things. I know a lot of people say it's family, but it really is to me. In my lifetime, I have seen really good stuff, bad stuff, and all around stuff. Sometimes when I reflect on my life, I think, wow, I've really had an interesting life with all the different things that I've done. But now it's getting to that point where I need to pull back a little bit, release the reins, so to speak. I will still be here. I'm still going to do what I normally do client reviews, contact clients, all of that. What I probably won't do so much anymore is the evening marketing work and things like that. But I look forward to this. I think my wife Nancy looks forward to it for us. Some of the clients are very excited about it. Some of the clients think it's going to be okay. But we're going to continue to go down the same way. And probably the big difference will be the name change that's there, what's on the website. And we're going to bring in more technology because that's what we need to do. And you may have, it may turn out to be really great stuff because you'll have access to things that perhaps aren't available right now. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good transition. I trust Nolan with my family, with my wallet. He's a very bright advisor. He really is. The people who work with him exclusively really like him to the point of loving him. How do I know that? Because when he was off on paternal leave there, when his son was born, I had to call some of his clients, and they were cordial to me, but they wanted to know when Nolan was coming back. Mm-hmm. So I thought that's a good sign. Yep. That really is. So that's the announcement I wanted to make. As we go through the radio program between now and the end of the year, we'll bring updates to everybody. In the great scheme of things, the basic building block of our company will remain the same. Nolan will become the owner. We will work together with the investment side. Nancy's business with the Medicare and long-term care and all that's going to stay hooked up to the business. That's a piece we have to finalize, but we're getting there. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to have Nolan come in and talk for a moment, and then Nancy will come in and talk for a moment, and then we'll go back to the normal formatting of our program. Is that good, everybody?
Absolutely. Yes. Fantastic, Ron. And we appreciate you breaking the news here with us. This is more than just a change in name only, but a change that is, if anything, an improvement in the services that you'll offer as you make a slight transition. The staff, the team there at Ron Corser and Associates, as we transition to Cornerstone Retirement Planners, will remain intact, and the services that you offer, you're looking to just enhance those. And I think that it's a good thing that not only are you worried about your family's transition plans and legacy plans, but you have thought through your own business succession and transition plan. And Nolan's been a part of the team for quite some time. So this really should be a fairly seamless transition and change. And for the clients, not really noticing that great of a difference because you'll still remain there as an integral part of the firm. It's now just expanding a little bit. So thank you for the overview, Ron, and the announcement.
Yeah, and what people understand, those of you who have been with us for a while, originally the name of our company was Cornerstone Retirement Partners. I joke about this, I ran into a high-powered marketing guy a while back. He said, no, you got to put your name on the door. I've never been totally comfortable with that. So I'm really grateful that we're going back to Cornerstone Retirement Partners. I think it talks more about what we do. So I'm going to bring in Nolan now to just have a few minutes with you and talk a little bit about so you get to see him and understand him, and then Nancy too. So
Well,
hang on there, everybody. We'll be right back.
yeah, absolutely. Nolan is a sharp guy. You've seen him on the program before, and we'll bring Nolan in here through the magic of technology here, and we'll have him join us to give us his take on what's going on there as we transition from Ron Corser and Associates and transition to Cornerstone Retirement Partners. So we'll take just a quick break and reset, and Nolan will be here with us in just a moment. We are happy to now have on with us Nolan Gosley, partner there at Ron Corser and Associates, now Cornerstone Retirement Partners. And Nolan, obviously a big change and transition for you. I'm sure you're excited about this. What does this mean to you?
Well, it means a whole lot of hard work is finally coming to the forefront of what's happening in all of our lives. Ron and Nancy and I have been working together for the past 5 years. This was kind of the plan initially, was to provide Ron with some support, but really work on bringing the business to that next level, And so what we're trying to do here is really just a coordination, all three of us working together, all three of us as partners, and moving forward, just really trying to help people and make it so that everybody, sees the name Cornerstone Retirement Partners and knows that, they're going to receive some sort of assistance when they come see us.
Well, I think you have to take it as high compliment, because I am certain that Ron, having branded this business, built this business, it's his life's work, did not want to relinquish the reins until he was confident that he found that right person to carry on and to continue serving those that he has cared so much about, the clients over the years that have trusted and counted on Ron Corser and Ron Corser and Associates, the full team. Finding that right person in you, I know was a process and took some time, but I don't think that he would be confident in making this transition if he did not have full faith and trust in you. So I just to remind you, I guess, and to remind the listeners that is a pretty high compliment to your abilities.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that. And it does, it feels like that. And Ron and I do talk about that a lot. Where there really wouldn't be a relationship like the one that we have if there wasn't significant trust there. Ron and I have always gotten along really well. We have very similar personalities, very similar morals, values. We care about our families in a lot of the same ways.
Both of you vets.
Yeah, both Army veterans. Yep, we both spent some time in the service, so that's another key piece of, I guess, what makes us the driving and hardworking people that we are. But yeah, I mean, it's incredibly high praise. It's not only, the business, but it's our staff, and taking care of our people that work here. As you said, taking care of all of our clients and making sure that all of our clients receive the same amount of service and stewardship that Ron and Nancy have spent so much time building and cultivating with everyone over time. Yeah. And then of course, Ron and Nancy too, it's their family, it's what they've built. And, Nancy's been with Ron 15, 16 years building the business. There's a lot of longtime employees here that are hopefully going to continue being longtime employees. And we're just really excited about this transition actually happening after so many years of work to get it here, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Nolan, how do you envision this progression for Cornerstone Retirement Partners? Maybe both short-term and a little longer term, if you would.
Sure. So short term, our goal is going to keep everything as similar as it can be right now. I mean, not everything's going to be the same because it shouldn't be. I mean, it's a new company name and there will be slight differences here or there. But our main goal is going to try to keep the client experience the same as it always has been. That will be our focus. Our focus is always going to be on serving clients and making sure that our people are well taken care of. Beyond that short term, Nancy and I are going to try and work on finding a replacement for her at some point. I'm not sure, if she'll talk about that a little bit or not, but, one of the things that she does need to find is somebody, to maybe take over for her in another, 3, 4, 5 years or something like that. So, maybe in the short term, that's kind of the goal. We want to to keep those two business units together and as married as possible, because it makes a whole lot of sense having kind of wealth management and healthcare all in one office. So yeah, that's primary focus, keeping everything intact, getting everybody through the next 2, 3, 4 years as the transition happens, and just take care of everybody and their families and make sure everyone's, I don't know, safe. Much past that, what I would like to do kind of longer term with this business, we have a really nice natural marriage right now between wealth management and healthcare. I think there's a couple more, areas that we could dive into to benefit our clients in the long term. The two key areas that I'm looking into are tax planning and estate planning services. And so I think in the long term, my goal for the business is going to be to grow it to the point that we can have another 2 lines of business so that we can really take care of all of your financial needs all in one place, all in one afternoon. Yeah. Imagine being able to say, okay, my 401k is taken care of, all my IRAs are all set, my healthcare is good for the year, I just got my will updated, and I did my taxes, and it took 3 hours, and I'm not going to have to go back until next year or something like that. So that would be the goal long term. I kind of want to have an everything in one place, type of situation for everybody.
All of those very complementary of each other and really require some coordination in between each one of those topics and subjects, because they're not in a vacuum. They're kind of puzzle pieces. One certainly fits into the next.
Sure. And I mean, imagine you go into a place and you fill out a questionnaire, and the questionnaire might trigger, 2 or 3 flags for people from different divisions of the company to be in your first appointment. Well, you go into your first appointment, what's to say you wouldn't have a financial advisor, healthcare expert, and estate planner in your first appointment with you, doing the discovery, asking the question, but getting to the bottom of it with a coordinated effort.
I liken it to a doctor's office visit. I always sort of... I'm busy in my schedule, and going to one doctor's appointment takes time out of my schedule. And then I get a referral to some different doctor where I have to take more time to go to them for what seemed like a pretty simple issue. Having everything under one roof, being able to take care of it all kind of in one appointment, seems to me like it would definitely be advantageous from the wealth and health and tax and legal standpoint.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to just create a competitive advantage and build something that nobody else has. There are some companies that, I look for, to maybe provide services like this, just so we can kind of build a template or create a business model based on them. It's so difficult to find a coordinated office like that. So if it's really, really hard to find, but I'm looking after it and I'm hunting after it, chances are somebody else is looking and hunting after it too. And if we can provide it for somebody when nobody else is, that's a huge value add to me, and something that I think will benefit a lot of people in the near and long term.
Well, taking over the reins there at Ron Corson Associates as we make the transition to what you will hear much more about in the coming year and years ahead, Cornerstone Retirement Partners. He is Nolan Gosley, partner with the firm and transitioning to owner of Cornerstone Retirement Partners. Again, Nolan, congratulations to you, and a job well done. And we'll look forward to continuing to serve the savers and investors around Grand Rapids for a long time to come with you.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. I look forward to talking to all of you more in the future. Appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. Through the magic of technology now, we will transition and we'll get Nancy Corser, the third member of the trifecta team there at Ron Corser and Associates, in to get her take on the transition to Cornerstone Retirement Partners. But before we do, just want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got questions, if you have concerns, if you would like to get that course to retirement plan, pick up the phone, give a call now, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. And joining us now, we have the third member of the team there, and really the second member, partner there, handling the health side of planning. Nancy Corser joins us. We've, of course, had Nancy on the program many times in the past, talking about how she helps and assists clients there at Ron Corson Associates, now Cornerstone Retirement Partners, with the healthcare aspect of planning. Nancy, welcome back in.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Now, this is obviously a big announcement. I guess you're hoping maybe a little bit more free time you and Ron get to spend together, or is it still going to be business as usual?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, but for the most part, it's going to be business as usual. As mentioned, I think previously, we're still going to connect the health and the wealth. And with Ron kind of changing roles here, my role remains the same. So my plan is to continue to work with my clients over the next couple of years. But honestly, I am looking for someone who's going to come alongside me, especially during this open enrollment, so that I too will have a successor that will be able to step into my shoes once I fully retire. But it is still business as usual. My clients will still be calling about Medicare and individual health insurance, long-term care, and so on.
So some things change, but more is going to stay the same there, I guess, is the story at Cornerstone Retirement Partners.
Correct. Yes. And actually, and you may or may not know this, Peter, we're going back to our original name.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a come full circle, so to speak. But
That's right.
I really appreciate, because I think that it is a common question that a planner asks their client or prospective investor. What is your succession plan? What do you want to have happen with your wealth and assets after you're no longer in need of them? And a lot of times we don't think about returning that question and asking the planner themselves, well, what happens to me and our relationship if you are no longer part of the business or when you retire? And a lot of people have planners that are more senior than they are and may be retiring before they are. And so I think that is a fair question. And I love the fact that you and Ron and the team there at Cornerstone Retirement Partners have thought that through and have answered that question and have had that answer in place for some time.
I agree. In terms of Nolan coming aboard to change roles with Ron, Nolan's been with us now for almost 5 years. So we have had that type of plan in mind all along. And they've spent a lot of time together, done a lot of shadowing, and really getting Nolan up to speed where he will be comfortable in taking the reins. So it's my turn. I'm a little bit behind the other two, but that's okay. I do have a good team in place today, but as you said, having a plan going forward. So my target date really is the next 4 years. I won't tell you how old I'll be when I finally say goodbye, but and I've also planted seeds with my clients. Every open enrollment, when I meet with many of them, I've already said, look, it's time for me to start looking for my replacement, somebody that you're going to be comfortable working with. So it does take time. Just like you said, it's nothing that happens overnight. So hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, I find that right person, because that's extremely important as well. So.
Well, and maybe that right person could be listening to the program or viewing on the podcast. If we have a young, ambitious, talented, and qualified person, maybe they hear this and reach out and become part of the team. But I know that you will continue to be there to provide service. And as you look for that right fit over the next 4 years, as we're making this transition, should not have any pitfalls on the servicing side, because you will be there, as you always have, to provide the answers and to help those transitioning into our retirement healthcare plans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a pretty good network in working with some of the general agents. So I've reached out to them as well. And like you say, whether it's somebody brand new coming aboard with their health and life license, but they're eager, and that's the kind of person you want to look for, or if it's somebody that says, you know what, it's time for me to kind of do my own thing. It really is an opportunity for somebody to manage the many clients that we now have been blessed with over the years.
Absolutely. Well, Nancy Corser rounding out the conversation of the team there at Ron Corser and Associates and the transition that you will hear more about over the coming year to Cornerstone Retirement Partners. And Nancy, I'm glad to help break the news and talk about this change and reassure all listeners, all clients, all savers and investors across Grand Rapids that you, your team, your husband and his partner, Nolan Gosley, all still there at Ron Corson Associates, but we will hear a little bit different branding, a little bit different name, Cornerstone Retirement Partners, over the coming year. So thank you for being there to provide the guidance that we need on the healthcare side of things.
Thank you, Peter.
All right. Well, we will take a quick break. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to get your course to retirement, the plan, the document, the snapshot of where you are and the recommendations for how to achieve your financial goals in the future, simply pick up the phone, give a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more with Ron Corser in just a moment. And welcome back into your course to retirement, Grand Rapids, your resource for that common sense approach to planning. And as we have announced on today's program, making a transition of their own there. And over the course of the coming year, you will certainly hear more about Cornerstone Retirement Partners, and they will be rebranding and renaming, and the team will remain the same. The services, if anything, an improvement into the future, as Ron Corser has announced bringing on Nolan Gosley as full partner there and really owner of the firm moving forward. But Ron and Nancy and the team planning on staying around for quite some time as well, continuing to service clients and providing all of the services that they do there at Ron Corser and Associates. If you have questions, if you've got concerns, if you would like a course to retirement plan put together, pick up the phone, give a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. Now, Ron, we've got these 12 questions. Are you ready to retire? These 12 questions, if we answer these, we would really get a feel for how prepared we are for retirement.
Yeah, we really would. And what I'd like to do is cover as much as we can for the remaining program. There's 12 questions that help people answer the real serious question of, are you prepared? How prepared are you to retire? So right off now, if anybody wants these 12 questions, just give us a call at the office, send us an email, and we'll email them to you. They're 12 good questions because they're questions that we ask our clients when we meet them for the first time, when we meet them for the 14th time. They're always questions that we ask because there's always a great answer for them, and it's so important. So again, if you want these 12 questions, give us a call, give us your email. We'll email them to you. It's the easiest, fastest way to do it. But how prepared are you? So here's a key question. And this is one that I think sometimes people think they've made a pretty good answer for, but in reality, perhaps not. And here's the question. Do you know how long it would be? Let me redo this. Do you know how long you would be able to generate the income you need if your paycheck stopped today? So think about this. If today or last Friday was the last day of work, do you have enough income in retirement to retire? And if you're not old enough to retire, do you have enough income in place, investments, things like that? Do you have enough income to carry you through till you get to the next job? It's a really important question. It really is. We seem to take it for granted. Well, I've saved $1 million in my IRA. And my response is, because you and I have talked about this, Peter, that's really great. You got $1 million in your IRA and you're 53 years old. And the company just told you, we love you a lot, but not that much. You got to go out and find other work. So if all of your life savings is just in the IRA and you're under 59 and a half, here's the first thing you need to be aware of. If you have to tap that, generally speaking, you're going to pay tax on what you take out of that IRA or the 401k, and you're going to pay an early withdrawal penalty of 10%. So all of a sudden, it becomes kind of an expensive proposition. So what does this lead to? It leads to saying, maybe it makes sense if you're a few years from retirement or a lot of years from retirement, to start to think about where you're going to put your life savings in what kinds of what we call buckets. A tax-deferred bucket, a 401k IRA, a tax-free bucket, which could be a Roth, which takes some planning, or, a kind of taxable account, an individual account or joint account, things like that, that are taxed a little differently. So it makes some sense in the whole planning process. Yeah, you're doing a great job putting it into an IRA, but man, if you have to access that, you're going to pay a 10% early withdrawal penalty unless you meet certain really small requirements. You can avoid that in some ways. So that's the first one. Do you know how long you'd be able to generate income if you weren't working for any reason?
And I like the way that that is phrased. It's not specific to retirement, because Ron, this is a question we do need an answer to, no matter where we are in our career. As you sort of just stressed and emphasized, it's not necessarily exclusive to the day that I choose to walk away from my paycheck. It is at any point. Are we ready?
That's right. And one of the things we do, and I encourage you, if this is a question you want an answer for, we can help you. Give us a call at 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. We've worked with folks who 52, 51, 48 that find themselves, what I used to say, is between positions. They may have gotten a buyout, they may not have. But what do they do now? Where do they go? So before that happens, sometimes it's great to have a plan in place, or at least a strategy to help you bridge the gap from you just had a job taken out from under you to the next job you're going to get. And we can help do that. It's an important discussion to have. And it's actually one of the basic building blocks of creating a retirement plan down the road for you. Because if you don't know how you're going to get by today, if you don't have a job and it's going to take you 3 weeks to 3 months, 6 months to find work, how are you going to get through that? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to keep the mortgage up? There's a lot of ifs in there. So that's what we can help you. We can help you with that kind of a plan, whether you get to retire when you're 65 after 35 years with the company, or you've had a separation from service when you're 50. We can help you with that. So give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. We can have the conversation, and it's a conversation we have with everybody because I think it's that important. It's interesting, Peter. When we do our own company meetings every other week, we have what I call a campfire meeting, where we talk about anything and everything pertaining to the business, our goals, things that are going on that are good. Somebody had a new baby, show us a picture. But one of the things we also talk about is we have to answer a really serious question. As an advisory firm, we have to answer a really serious question. That serious question is this: how are we going to get our clients through the next 10 years? How are we going to do that? Why would that be such an important question for our firm? Well, I think we've all noticed that there's some strange things going on in our culture, in our country, and in the world economy. Some days I get up and see some of the headlines in the news, and it feels and sounds like Alice in Wonderland on street drugs. So we always have to say, how are we going to get everybody through the next 10 years? I happen to be one of those people that think our country still comes through all this turmoil. Will it be a little different? Yeah, change always comes, but it will be there for us. But the next 10 years, I think, are going to be critical. Whether you're 35 or 55, the next 10 years are going to be critical. How we respond to that, how we save for that, how we make plans for that will determine how successful we are when we come out of this at the end. So it's one of the key things we always talk about as a firm. From people who are part-time employees with us, who are part of the program, how are we going to get our clients for the next 10 years? And one of the ways to do it is to have the conversation with everybody that says, if today's your last day of work, then what? Have we planned for that? And we can help you plan for that then what thing so that it's not going to be not as catastrophic.
Now, again, if you would like this list of the 12 questions to answer to know if you are prepared, simply pick up the phone, give a call, and request that. 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. Now, Ron, the next question begins to build into the conscious decision to leave work and leave the paycheck behind. This is really about retirement here. Have you identified and calculated your retirement income gap? This is going to really help us know if we're ready and prepared to make that transition and retire.
It really is. And what is the income gap? We've talked a lot about it on our program, and it's something I talk with everybody about, whether we meet them for the first time or they've been a client for 20 years. The income gap. You get an answer to your income gap by first answering this question. How much income can I get in retirement from my life savings? How much retirement income can I get out of my life savings today? Whether you're 50 or 75, what's that dollar number that you can get out? Most of us think, well, I've saved $500,000, I should be okay. Well, that depends on how much money you have to take out of that $500,000 portfolio. You know, if you need $80,000 a year out of that $500,000 portfolio, that's probably not going to last forever. But more importantly, you won't spend it down to zero, but you'll make major adjustments in your lifestyle. So when we're talking about something called an income gap, ultimately we're talking about keeping your lifestyle in retirement. If you have a separation from service and you're not retired, keeping your lifestyle. That's what's most important. And so the income gap is, let's figure out how much money you need coming in every month from all sources to maintain your lifestyle, to keep that lifestyle. Then the second question is, what do we have in terms of guaranteed money? Could be Social Security, could be a pension. But you know, if you're under 65, you're not dealing with Medicare. You may not have a pension. You may not even be in the Social Security system yet because you're too young. So where's this income going to come from to keep you afloat, to keep your lifestyle? It's the income gap that we as advisory firms focus on first and foremost when we're planning for people. Whether you're 45 or 65, doesn't matter. We need to know today the answer to that question. If I can't go to work tomorrow, where am I going to get the money from to hold on to my lifestyle? So that's a key question. We can help with that. Give us a call, 616-301-2581. We'd be more than happy to help you go through this. It's not a simple answer, simply because everybody's different. It really is. But we're able to, through all the things that we've done over time, this is a key planning thing that we do with everybody. So give us a call at 616-301-2581, and we can help you with this.
You beat me to it. I was going to say that is a process that you really go through with everyone. And in fact, most people have never been through a financial process like what you have gone through with your clients in defining and finding that income gap and then deciding how best to fill that income gap, which kind of leads into question number 3 on this list, Ron, is identifying what's needed to fill that income gap. And then also, and equally as important, defining what is left over. How much do we have in discretionary additional assets?
That's an important question to take a look at. And it's not just something that says, well, I have $500,000 in my 401k, I should be okay. You may be. Absolutely. That may be the right answer. I'm going to be okay. But what happens a lot of times is that we'll sit back. We used to do that when CDs paid 4, 5, or 6%. Remember those good old days? That seems like so long ago. Wow, I miss those days. I'll tell you a little story we'll get off the rails a little bit. My mom, her idea of serious financial investing was to open up the Detroit newspaper every Sunday, find out who was paying the biggest interest for CDs, and she'd go there and put $1,000 in or $500 in and get a toaster or a waffle iron. She just thought that was great. And I just used to smile sometimes at her because I loved her dearly, man. So one time she called me. This is when inflation was roaring its ugly head. And she left a voicemail. And my mom rarely ever did that. She hated that. But usually when she left a voicemail, that meant something was really important. I better call her back right away. So I called her back right away. I said, Mom, what's happening when you left the voicemail? She says, son, I went to the bank and I got a 5-year CD that paid 14%. And they gave me a waffle iron. And I just said, well, that's really good, Mom, but inflation's 17% right now. She said in her own way, I don't care about that stupid inflation. I got a CD that pays 14% for 5 years, and it gave me a waffle iron. And I just kind of smiled and said, Mom, I love you. You know, that's what you do with Mom.
Yep.
Well, about 2 years later, the inflation rate came way down. I'll tell you what, 14% for another 3 years? Wow. Wow. Yeah. See, back then we could say, well, I get a CD that's paying 4% if I can just scrape that 4% off, I can live on that and keep principal. That's kind of hard to do now because banks aren't paying that, are they? But we still go through the same mindset. I have $500,000 or $1 million. If I can just take off 4% on $500,000, that'll give me $20,000. I can live on that and preserve principal. And my response is, yes, you can, but is $20,000 enough for you to maintain the quality of life that you have, to maintain and keep your lifestyle? It's a different question.
Yep.
For some people, the answer is yes, because they have a Social Security and a pension. For others, the answer is, I maybe need a little more than that, because nobody in the world in their right mind wants to reduce their lifestyle of what they're doing right now. So it's an important question to know that. It's also an important question to know, all right, if I put a big chunk of my life savings to create income in an income plan, am I going to have money left over for growth, for doing discretionary things, for buying that, as my brother did a while back, buy that bass boat with a 225 horsepower engine on it, because apparently those fish are swimming faster than they used to. So it's an important question to answer.
Well,
Give us a call at 616-301-2581, and we'll help you with that.
They'll help define that question. They'll help you answer that question of filling that income gap, of defining the available discretionary funds, bass boat, or whatever you might have on your bucket list. You need to understand that you can do those things and not impact or have negative consequences to your income base moving thereafter. And so that's why this is one of the top questions on the list of 12 questions to answer to know if you're prepared for retirement. And this is a process that investors and savers go through there at Ron Corser and Associates, Cornerstone Retirement Partners. Pick up the phone, give a call if you'd like the list, or if you'd like to go through the process. 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. Skipping a little ahead, Ron, what you just described there, number 9 on your list, do you know the cash flow rate your portfolio will need to generate in order to meet your retirement needs? That was a much easier question to answer back when CDs were paying double-digit rates of return. And in fact, when the model that most retirement plans still to this day are based on, the 4% rule, air quotes there, was incepted, it was pretty easy to get a 4% retirement cash flow because you could get that simply by sticking your money in a CD at a bank, and times are different now. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why we have so much question and concern and doubt and worry about generating that retirement income.
Yeah, this is a key idea. Not a lot of people talk about it. We call it the projected portfolio value, PPV. What is that? Let's say somebody sits down and says, you know what, when I retire, I'm going to need an additional, in addition to say Social Security and pension, I'm going to need an additional $30,000 a year from my life savings to retire. So here's how you can figure that. This is a great thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, and it's really easy. You just take the amount of money you need. In this case, it's going to be $30,000 a year, and divide it by whatever percentage withdrawal rate you think is appropriate. So let's take the 4% rule. So that $30,000 divided by 0.04 equals $750,000. So what have we just done here? Somebody said, I need $30,000 a year over and above Social Security pension to maintain and keep my lifestyle. So what kind of chunk of money do I need going forward that'll give me that? If I do it at 4%, I need $750,000. If I do it at, and 4% for a lot of people may be too aggressive in taking money out of an account, depending on who you listen to. What if we go to 2%? You need $30,000, 2%, you need $1.5 million sitting somewhere to be the basis for taking money out of your portfolio. Now, I give this to people not to scare you, but to bring a dose of reality into what we're trying to accomplish. The key for everybody going into retirement or wherever they are in life is how much income can my life savings produce to keep my lifestyle. And if you need that $30,000 and you're going to say, I need a bucket of money always in the stock market, I need $750,000 before I can get that $30,000 out safely. So what if you don't have $750,000? This is where we can really help you, ladies and gentlemen. There are ways to create an income plan that will come much closer or maybe give you the number you need, the amount of income in retirement you need, even though you don't have, say in this example, the 750,000. We can help you with that. We can create an income plan for you that will get you the income you need, or at least it'll tell you right now you're not quite there. You need to work for a little while longer and save for a little more. But we can help with that. Please give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, and we will help you.
Well, Ron, I know that we're not going to have time to get to all 12 of these questions, which is why it's great that you're making that full list available. But what are some of the other key questions that people must answer in order to know if they're ready to retire?
Well, one of them is, do you have a Social Security strategy? Do you know what the best strategy is for you and say your spouse to maximize the long-term benefit of Social Security? We can help you with that. We can give you a Social Security analysis free of charge that will kind of uncover the top 3 or maybe even 4 options that you have with you and your spouse. Social Security with a single person is a little different and it's a little easier. It's just you, you know what? If you're a widow or if you're single, it's just you. But with couples, there are some options still available. So that's a big one. Another one to do is, have you thought about how you're going to cover excess medical costs, i.e. long-term care coverage, if that happens?
And we spoke to
bring
Nancy earlier in the program. She's a big part of helping to answer that
She
question.
absolutely does. And I don't use this to scare people. I don't want to scare people. But the fact is, half of everybody listening to today's program, if we live long enough, we're going to need some kind of custodial care. Just flat out. Look at me. I've had back surgeries and replacement shoulders and everything going on. What a wonderful time we live in. I mean, it's amazing. I'm going to be bionic, I think, after they do the hips. So it's going to be awesome. But it's a question you have to answer. How are we going to cover these costs? What's our strategy? And the strategy may be that, no, you don't offset that risk to an insurance company. Maybe we just plan the other way. Maybe we have to plan as a Medicaid strategy. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's important to cover it so you don't wake up one day. And I've gone through this. I said, oh my goodness, Charlie just had a stroke. I don't know what we're going to do. You don't want to be in that position, ladies and gentlemen, so we can help you. It's an important conversation to have when we do that retirement planning thing. And then finally, I just talk about you need to understand taxes in retirement. Most people that we talk to now, we look around and see what's going on in our government and our society, and we think, good grief, how are they going to pay for this? You know, you can only print money so long before somebody has to kind of pay for some of this stuff. So most people understand that the potential for taxes going up and perhaps going up dramatically is real. So think about this. You've saved $1 million. It's in your 401k. You've never paid a dime in tax. So you roll that over and you retire to an IRA. You've never paid a dime in tax. So when you start taking money out of that, because you need $30,000 a year, so to speak, to supplement everything else in retirement, those first dollars, every one of those dollars is taxed. So guess who's first in line for your retirement plan? The IRS. It's been estimated that if you live, retired at 65, a couple, they live to be 85 or so, about 35 to 40% of your tax deferred accounts, 401ks, IRAs, are going to go to taxes. That's a scary number. It really is. That means if you need $2,000 a month to come out to supplement your income, those are after-tax dollars. That means you have to take out perhaps $2,400 a month. Take out taxes, federal, state, some local. So it's an important calculation. It's a really important conversation to have with us if we're going to be your advisors or you're our clients right now. We talk about it every time we do reviews, every time we meet people. Taxes and healthcare are going to be 2 of the biggest costs we face in retirement. It's just a fact of life. So what's our plan for it? What's our plan? Give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. We can absolutely help you develop a plan that deals as best as we can with taxes and healthcare costs in retirement.
616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, the number to call if you'd like to get your course to retirement plan, or if you'd just like the list and go through it on your own with your spouse, with your family, with your loved ones, share it with friends or coworkers to help them to know, or to help yourself know if you are ready to retire, if you're truly prepared. You got to answer all 12 of the questions on this list. And again, the number to request that, 616-301-2581. Ron, a big one that there is some misconception over and people really need to give careful thought and consideration to is, do you know how much of your working career income you will need to replace in retirement? Now, we may not need 100% of the income that we were earning when we were working, but there is kind of a myth, if you will, or a misconception that a lot of plans rely on, that we only need 70 or 80%. That's not universal for everyone. That really needs to be thought through on an individual basis.
You know, that's a great point. It really does need to be thought through. When I first got in this business 26 years ago, we were told to do two things: get everybody to put as much as they can in IRAs, 401ks, because when you retire, you'll be in a lower tax bracket and you'll need less money in retirement. 26 years ago, that might have been pretty accurate. I don't think it's accurate today. Let me give you an example. What if somebody is making $100,000 a year after all of their savings, after all the taxes and everything else that comes out of the paycheck? They're living on $65,000 or a little over $5,000 a month. They're not living large. They're not extravagant. You know, they haven't bought that yacht down in Key West. They don't go to the casino 4 times a week because the food is really great. They just live modest lifestyles. It's pretty hard, even with no debt, to reduce the amount of money you need to maintain your lifestyle, particularly if you're in that boat. So it may not be accurate. The other place where it may make some sense, if somebody is doing really well in life, they're making serious 6 figures, but they're living in a modest lifestyle. So that may be where that applies, where you won't need as much income in retirement. But for most people, the great majority, it's going to be really hard to live on less than you're living now, because your lifestyle right now is based on your take-home pay. If you're working, you're spending that. Maybe your savings a little bit, but you're spending that. It's going to be pretty hard in retirement to reduce your spending limit. So unless you're making serious 6 figures and you're very comfortable in whatever modest lifestyle you're going to have, you know, you may have to take a hard look at that and say, what are we going to do? So give us a call. We can help you with that hard look. It won't be so painful. Give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. We will help you, ladies and gentlemen, through all these things.
Just one of the critical questions to have answered, and a list of 12 of them is available to you to know if you are prepared for retirement. Are you ready? Well, answer these 12 questions and you'll get a good feel for that. Pick up the phone, request this list, this report, this resource, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. And if you'd like the help of a certified financial planner in finding your answers to these questions, Ron offers that as well. All you need to do, again, pick up the phone, give a call, 616-301-2581. Ron, a quick moving program, great announcements about the changes coming to Cornerstone Retirement Partners, Ron Courser and Associates. Thank you for bringing that to the airwaves here, as we will continue to hear much more about that in the year to come. And as always, thank you for being the resource.
Thank you for everybody listening to today's program. I hope you have a blessed Sunday. Enjoy the warm weather. I think it's safe to put the snowblower away. So we'll see everybody next weekend.
Tune in to Ron Courser's full radio program, A Course to Retirement, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on WOOD, and visit roncourser.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Your Course to Retirement.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor.
Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group is solely an indication that the financial advisor has attended training provided by Ed Slott and Company, passed biannual examinations on material covered at conferences and in webinars, and met other membership requirements, and does not constitute an endorsement of any kind. Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group members pay a fee for the educational programs that allow them to be included in the Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. Membership does not guarantee investment success. Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.
Any investments and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.